So my name is Greg Levine. I'm the Executive Director of Trees of Atlanta, and I've been with the organization for just over 30 years. My background was landscape architecture, and I was working in some different firms before I came to Trees of Atlanta. And it started off as the only program staff, planting trees, coordinating volunteers and other projects. And it's really been a pleasure and a great place to work for 30 years. I know that's not often that people get to find the right career for them, but I found the right career, the right place for me to be, and I feel really lucky to be at Trees Atlanta for this long and been part of making it grow and working with such great people at the organization, but also the volunteers and community. Trees Atlanta has been part of the City of Atlanta for 40 years, and our mission has not really changed. Our mission is to involve the community to plant, conserve, and educate people about the importance of trees. And we'll continue to do that through the many volunteers. In fact, over 47,000 volunteer hours last year helped make Atlanta greener and better. Trees have been the identity of Atlanta they've been using it as a marketing tool for 40 to 50 years. And the trees that are in Atlanta they do set the identity of the city. And so an organization that represents such an important part of Atlanta is automatically have a great connection to the city. And Trees Atlanta has kind of grown with Atlanta. I think in the 80s, it was kind of the lowest population in Atlanta history. And obviously it's grown to its highest population, and the organization has grown along with it. And in that, Trees Atlanta has seen some loss of tree canopy, but has worked collaboratively to continue to plant trees with the City of Atlanta and the community. And we were started by the City of Atlanta, as well as the Parks Department, as well as Central Atlanta Progress and the Junior League. So even how we were initiated, we were ingrained to be connected to Atlanta, and therefore its identity. It is just so much of what people think of the City of Atlanta. I have a friend from Oklahoma, and first trip to Atlanta, he could not believe how green it was, and he knew that's where he wanted to live because it was so different from Oklahoma. And whereas many other cities have some natural components to their cities like rivers and lakes that kind of make people think of Colorado or Denver or Miami and the ocean and the beach, we really do have this huge trees, very diverse canopy, and a good tree coverage as well at 46%. It really is why people want to live here and companies want to move here. And our organization is a way that we can get community involved in protecting what people think of as Atlanta through their community service and their volunteer time. Our 40th anniversary really is to obviously celebrate the canopy of Atlanta, but it's also celebrating the community that has helped build up the organization and help plant those trees. It's the volunteers, it's the city staff and people, it's our own staff, but it's really celebrating the community effort as much as it is the organization's 40 years. It's an opportunity to celebrate the mission, not just looking back, but also looking at 40 years, seeing that success and seeing how we can continue to build off that success. And we know that so much of it is working with the community and volunteers who help make the difference that they want to see in the world. I think it's that Gandhi quote maybe. By being involved in helping protect it, replant it, restore it. And that's what this 40 is really about. Community and the volunteers, and of course, the trees. We do a lot of art on the Beltline that relates to ecology and ecosystems and trees. So when we do art on the Beltline, it's really to represent some sort of ecological theme for the Beltline Arboretum. So we manage the Beltline Arboretum. Art is a way to reach a different crowd or a different audience. And so one of the things that we like to focus on is obviously local Atlanta artists. Our first piece is called Cycles, the ginkgo installation West End. It's a circling ginkgo leaves. And it's interesting is that when we did kind of a regional, that was the first time we ever hired an artist in the 2006 or 7. And we did a regional and we ended up with a local. And then after that, we why would we ever go beyond Atlanta or the metro Atlanta to find, because there's so many great artists here. So when we do any kind of art project, we work as local as possible, help support those artists, their companies, and we like to do that with almost everything we do. We like to buy as local as possible, so that includes working with artists. We also work with getting art in schools, whether that's through our camp, or we have a school program where we visit 50 different schools doing environmental education, which art is often a component of that. Our camp has that. Whenever we do any even smaller projects, again, work with local artists. A lot of times, the way we do it now is working through the community that volunteers, connections to those volunteers. Having that connectivity usually means the artist understands the organization and has buy-in into our mission. So a lot of it is working with people who believe in what we do. We do occasionally have art exhibits here when they relate to nature. We really like to have it where it works with our mission. We've had artists in our past facility as well. And sometimes we'll even have artists do classes here, teaching people how to paint watercolors for leaves and trees and that kind of thing. But I do think it's also, whether it's a logo or anything time we are creating something for the organization, we are really looking for smaller companies or artists to help us do that work. We're always doing so much. I mean, right now, we have our plant sale coming up in actually, I think it's online now, but we have an in-person plant sale in early October. But I think that kind of really relates to this big initiative that we're working on, and that's having a tree nursery here at Trees Atlanta. We've just started that this year. And it's really to focus on getting some of those difficult plants, those native plants or urban tough plants, getting them out into the city of Atlanta or getting them for our personal projects. A lot of those plants are disappearing in the nurseries because a lot of nurseries are being swallowed up by larger nurseries, or the owners are aging out and doesn't make financial sense to continue them. So what happens is you have less diversity in the plant material you're able to get because bigger nurseries want to make money or not take chances, which when you're making money, you want to have stuff that grows fast, but not all plants grow expedient. So we're all excited about having a nursery that will have some of the trees that are hard to get, some of the local native perennials and shrubs that may be difficult to get, and also focus on a greenhouse at some point to do cuttings of trees that are difficult to even propagate. So that's a big initiative. We're very excited about it. The Beltline Arboretum is in its 15th year, I think, or is it 20th year? Sorry, we're in our 20th year. And we have 5 more years to finish that up. There's always a new trail being opened up. We're really excited to add more diversity, more trees and canopy to the Beltline. So that's another new initiative, or not new, it's an ongoing initiative. But I think the new piece is that we're getting very close to have finished planting it. And now we start really using the Arboretum, like any botanical garden, for displaying these important plants, but using it for education, and also an opportunity to do research. So it's kind of taking the Arboretum to the next level. We feel like we're getting into that time. John Lewis Flowering Forest is something that we're finishing up this year. So it's been an ongoing project for 5 years. But John Lewis obviously was a great congressman representing Georgia and Atlanta. And we really wanted to honor him. And so we have planted over 1,000 flowering trees along Freedom Parkway, which is now the John Lewis Parkway. And we're in the last year of doing that. And we're really excited to plant another few hundred trees, which is way over our goal, and celebrate him through an event in the spring in April, where we will do some care for the flowering forest. We're also going to give away, hopefully, a flowering tree for every tree we planted, so people can bring part of the memory and history of John Lewis home with them. And we're going to focus on those that have helped volunteer planting the flowering forest or helping us maintain it. And we're talking about over 1,000 people. So a lot of people have helped us in that project, and really this is the year we're going to celebrate all of the accomplishment the community has put towards honoring this great man. But it doesn't stop there. I think it's also the kind of the turner of caring for that forest, making sure that it becomes everything it should to continue to celebrate him for the next 50 to 100 years as it grows and continues to reseed and more flowering trees, continue to make that an amazing corridor that blooms from his birthday in February all the way through May, even into June, of just trees continuing to bloom. So we're really excited about that as well. It's a project that a lot of people have wanted to be involved in and continue to want to do that. So those are kind of three big initiatives. I'd say the last thing is we're really focused this year to do a pilot on a larger giveaway program. We're hoping to give away 3-gallon tree seedlings connected into the nursery. So we're just beginning that, and we hope to find a supporter that would help us grow that. We'd like to help some of the counties and cities that are losing tree canopy through hurricanes and major weather events, because they can't support a tree organization like ours, but it's the one way that we can help maybe support some of those communities beyond the metro Atlanta. Atlanta does, of course, have challenges like every city. When it comes to our tree canopy, almost every Atlanta knows it's become one of the most popular cities in the South to come and move to, and corporations are doing it. Individuals are coming to move here. Some people are coming here to retire. The Atlanta Beltline and the Arboretum have been a reason to move into the city, and that's fantastic. And growth is important because we have more and more people being born, the population's growing, and figuring out how to have a greater population while keeping the tree canopy is a challenge. Years ago, we were in the 80s, we were probably near 50% canopy. We believe with the last assessment that it's gonna be under 45%. The challenge goes beyond the city of Atlanta, but it's a metro as well. And then Atlanta measures their canopy. A lot of metro Atlanta does not measure their canopy. We don't know exactly what we're losing outside of Atlanta. We do know what we're losing inside the city. And it's figuring out how to make smarter development, which the communities have been talking about for well over 30, 40 years, embracing those ways. And of course, it does include transit. Yeah, transit's super important, and having transit all over the country is important, but transit is a way that you save trees. Highways get wider and wider, more streets will take out a lot of trees. So having a better transit system certainly would help Atlanta. That is a challenge that we can't really get involved in, but we can work on tree ordinances in Atlanta and other communities to see how we can figure out the balance of how we develop our land and how we keep our trees. That balance is important. The other challenge is we need to have more forested canopy in the public area, so the cities and counties owning more forested areas. That's another way to guarantee that we keep some of our canopy, is by preserving forests for eternity. And it's not just Atlanta that needs to be buying forested land, but it's all the counties around it. And there's probably not enough of that. Atlanta's done it, it's getting out 1,000 acres. Metro is not bought as much forest as we would like to see. So that's a challenge, and how are we able to buy more of that land and protect it? And then I think, to me, a big challenge is reaching beyond our supporters. There's a lot of people in the world who have a lot of messages coming at them. And one of the messages is that, yes, the environment has some challenges and something needs to happen with it. What people don't realize is they can definitely make the difference that we need to see. City has a 50% canopy goal, City of Atlanta. The person walks outside their door and doesn't see 50% canopy in their own house, they need to be planting a tree. If every community member planted a tree, we would increase our canopy. Over 40,000 single family households, I think, or 40,000, maybe 60. That'd be 60,000 more trees. If our schools and our churches get involved, they can plant trees as well. They can help increase the canopy, but people have got to do their part. It's a simple thing. It's an inexpensive thing to do, but they've got to do their part as well. Reaching the 500,000 people in Atlanta with more of our mission, that they can be the change they want to see in the world by planting trees, or planting a small meadow or native perennials, or letting some of their grass grow into something a little bit more wild. Getting that message to them, as a marketing communications team will tell you, it's really difficult because there is so much noise out there. But I think that the success here and the possibilities lie around when you get involved in an organization like Trees Atlanta, wherever you are, you're actually putting something in the ground. Your time and your energy goes on for a generation, especially if you get a tree in the ground. But whether you're planting meadows and supporting wildlife, that small thing you're doing really does grow exponentially. And we know that, and our volunteers know that. It's just getting more people to realize that they can make a positive difference. And I think the biggest challenge that we have is just getting enough time with the community and getting their ear and breaking the distractions that are all around them to know that they can focus on something and make Atlanta better. So I think one of the challenges that people do have is they're staying too tuned in. They're staying too tuned in to sharing information, way too much information. It's not just kids. Adults are too much on their phones, they're too much at their computer. Resist having to feel connected. Leave the phone at home, getting connected to nature, whether you're planting a tree or getting out and not taking your phone with you and not having earphones. It makes a healthier person. You can't get connected to nature when you're being distracted. And I think we in the last 10, 15 years have gone the wrong route and always feeling like you have to have a distraction. Because what it does is it also is distracting people from what is truly important, whether that be family, nature, the future, your children's future health and well-being, by being there. Being there, looking at what you have in your city and enjoying things that are real versus something someone else is living or someone else's voice or opinion. Letting yourself think and learn and be connected to nature and be connected to something other than 2.5 by 6 communication tool that when you sit and think about it, it's not making your life, at some point, it's not making your life better. But when you get out and exercise and be part of nature and see the beauty of the world, and whether it's a beautiful architecture or trees or plants or wildlife or people, that connection is a much healthier connection. And so we at Trees Atlanta really try to remind people that you can make a difference, but also there's beauty out there and there is good. And I think any opportunity we can get people to break off from the noise or social media or anything mechanical, it's a good thing. And we'll continue to work hard to give people the opportunity to get away, but also to connect and to do something good for their kids and for their fellow Atlantans.